Kinda can't believe I one-shot you with a pistol.
That's the way it works when you're doing really good. The game just kind of finds ways to fuck you over.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Mr. Flatface, man of many faces and even more opinions, and I always have an opinion when it comes to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022 edition. Today, we're actually not going to be talking about opinion. We're going to be going and exploring a conspiracy theory that's being thrown around the community as of late. A conspiracy theory that I think there might be a grain of truth to. Do I think it's 100% true? No. But with every conspiracy theory, there has to be a grain of truth, or else a conspiracy theory would not be believable. But with video evidence and Reddit forums and news articles being written about the fact that there is this conspiracy possibly in the game, we get to explore it now. So with this video, just form your own opinion. If you have your own experience, share it down below. And just remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, let's get into it a little bit here, guys. What's this conspiracy theory? The conspiracy theory is that we are being nerfed mid-match. Have you ever had a game where you're doing super, super good? Maybe you're dropped 20-0, and all of a sudden now the enemy is just constantly behind you. Or all of a sudden you notice that your bullets can't seem to hit the broadside of a barn. Or maybe all of a sudden it seems like the enemy is always spawning behind you and you can't seem to keep up. First half of the game, you were completely fine. Now the second half of the game's come along and you cannot even compete. Personally, in my experience, I've had games exactly like that, where all of a sudden I'm doing really, really good, and then all of a sudden I'm done. And I had a gameplay yesterday where I was 45-5, and then I finished the game 55-32. Though that was because my own ego got in the way, but let's be real. Now, I've always promised to keep it 100 with you guys and just be honest with you guys, and personally, I do think that there might be a grain of truth to this, because I have experienced where all of a sudden my aim is terrible, but I've changed nothing in my setup. In the middle of the game, all of a sudden I can't hit the broadside of a barn. Or the fact that your damage all of a sudden doesn't seem to keep up. So we're going to explore some articles here. We're going to look at a video, and we're just going to formulate our own opinion at the end of it. I kind of want to start us with the video because it's probably the best example of skill-based matchmaking being nerfed in the middle of the game, your damage. It's on shipment. It is in core mode, and it's a guy killing somebody else with a riot shield. And it takes 6 to 7 hits for them to die. Here's the video. And I'll always leave a link down in the comments below if you want to go see the Reddit thread yourself.
UAV is bingo fuel. RTV at the time. Hostile cluster mine active. We're getting hit hard.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 7 hits with a riot shield to kill a person on shipment. 1, shipment's a chaotic map, and then if it's going to take that many hits to kill somebody with a riot shield, that's way too many hits. Now, if you follow the channel for like any more than 10 seconds, you know that I have no love for riot shield users. I don't like them. I don't like the whole concept of it. But I do feel for the person that was hitting that guy with a riot shield. They hit them 7 times on a map where every second counts. There's no downtime on shipment, and to have to sit there and spend that many times hitting somebody is crazy. Now, with every game, there's a connectivity. You have to connect 12 people to one server. Those 12 people live in 12 different locations around the world. Those different locations have different bandwidths, different internet providers. For instance, I live in rural Alberta. I get really crappy internet. Maybe I connect to somebody who lives in like California or LA, and they get amazing internet. And the game has to balance that out. But that shouldn't ever result in somebody having to hit somebody 7 times with a riot shield, or 12 shots with an SMG, or 2 shots with a sniper rifle to the head. No matter where you are on the spectrum of like, dislike, or agree or don't agree with this, you have to admit that that's too many hits. You also have to admit that you've experienced something very similar to this. There's not one person watching this video or playing the game or just living their life that knows about Call of Duty that has not said, I hit that guy, how come he's not dead? How am I getting hit markers with this? How come it took that many shots? There's not one of us that can say that we've never said that. Now, a lot of times we're talking out of pocket. We're saying things that don't actually matter. We're just pissed off that we died or we're having issues. But I've had it where I've shot a guy with a literal RPG to his feet, and he just walks away like nothing happened. I've gotten direct headshots with a sniper rifle and gotten hit markers. We've all experienced something along these lines, and that's when you really start to foster the opinion and the conspiracy starts to grow that they're nerfing players mid-fight. In your next game, if you're doing really good, I want you to look at the leaderboard, and you'll see that at the beginning of the game, maybe you're 20-0, let's say, and the bottom guy is a 1-2 kind of thing. Watch as the game goes on, you'll start to see that you're getting less kills and they're getting more kills, and they'll start to push you together and bring you to his level and him to your level. All of a sudden, maybe he's doing more damage, or all of a sudden he's getting lucky and every enemy's just spawning in front of him and he's always behind them, and you're having the opposite luck. Every enemy's spawning behind you and killing you, and you're shooting marshmallows. In your games where you're doing good, I want you to pay attention to the fact that you will all of a sudden see the lobby start to squish. Mid-match, it'll start to squish, and you'll see that like Everybody gets really close together, and the way that the lobby looked at the beginning of the game to the middle of the game to the end of the game are three very, very different lobbies. Now, granted, some people need to warm up. Some people just get lucky. Some people pop off. But if for somebody who's genuinely a good player and is going to experience most games the same way, you're going to see that squish, now that I've mentioned it, every single game. And you're going to notice every single game that mid-match, it seems like a very big shift in the game. All of a sudden, you are going to have to start working really hard to keep your KD as high as it is. I don't know how many games I played where my KD is really, really good for the first half and the second half is really, really, really bad. This video gameplay I'm playing you has zero impact on what I'm saying right there. Don't reference my video as any sort of a conclusion to what I just said. 100% most of the deaths that I'm getting right now are my own ego. But when you are doing good, you feel good. But then I always find that mid-match, there's this shift, and all of a sudden, I'm not having fun anymore. All of a sudden, I'm working. I went from doing really good and having a good time, casually playing, to all of a sudden doing really, really bad and trying to just save myself. I know I always cut the audio out of the videos and maybe show you a segment here or there just so you guys get context, but most of the time I'm saying, like, what just happened? How come I didn't kill that guy? I just got a hit marker on that guy. How did that guy live through an RPG? But that all comes at the second half of the match. All of a sudden I'm asking questions, and it's not just me, it's every single person I play with. All of a sudden if they do really good, they struggle for the second half of the match. And you start to see that also in Reddit posts. You're seeing Reddit posts pop up everywhere. Nerfing mid-match. How come this happened? Look at this clip. 100% proof that there's literal nerfing happening mid-match. So with it, you have to accept that there's probably a grain of truth to this. There is a patent for doing this kind of stuff, and it goes all the way back to Cold War, which was apparently the worst Call of Duty to date. Personally, for me, I played hardcore. I didn't notice that there was issues in Cold War because, I played hardcore and it wasn't as broken as this Tier 1 system is. I do plan on making a video comparing hardcore to Tier 1 because they're two drastically different game modes, but that's another time. All I'm getting at is that there's Reddit posts going all the way back to Cold War talking about this, and I remember in Modern Warfare 2019, they were referencing the fact that they were making a patent to do this very thing, as well as put you in matches against people with blueprints and skins, so then you'll be eager to go get those blueprints and skins. So we have to acknowledge the fact that they've attempted to do it, and let's be honest, Activision is scummy as they can be, so they probably did do it. And in a few years, it'll come out that they did do it because some dev's gonna leave and leak it, just like everything comes to light eventually. But no matter where you stand on the spectrum, you have to acknowledge the fact that it's there. There's something that happens in each game where it changes the dynamic of the game. You could either be doing good and experience the negative of it, where all of a sudden you're not able to do anything and you do bad, or maybe you're the person that's on the good side of it where you were doing bad and all of a sudden now you're doing really good. It seems like they have this pause play button where they pause somebody and they play somebody else, and they kind of just tweak the system as it goes throughout the game, and where you'll see all of a sudden somebody that was doing really, really bad all of a sudden gets 8 kills in a row. Oh, but they just popped off, Mr. Flatface. That's odd that they just popped off when they haven't moved all game because they've been sitting in the same corner, hence why they were doing bad. But now it spawned the enemy right in front of them 3 or 4 times. You see examples of this every single game, and now that we've talked about it, you're going to notice it more frequently. But why would they do it? There has to be a reason for why they're doing it, or otherwise it'd be pointless. And the simple reason is that they want to make a safe space for all the people that are just not good enough to compete. They're new to the game. They're not as good as you. They have bad vision. This person's TV is smaller than yours. The list for Activision to say that they're doing it to help the player and the community goes on and on. But the reality of it is they're protecting the people who are going to spend money. Children.
Oh, but Call of Duty's not for the little children.
Okay. Well, adults are not stupid, so we're not going to buy the skins. We're not going to go waste money on the stupid stuff. It's going to be teenagers and kids that are going to go get the flashy stuff. Us adults, we could care less what our gun looks like because it's going to do the same thing as another gun until they eventually make this game pay to win. It's coming. It's to protect them. If somebody is new to the game or they're not as good as everyone else and they're having a bad time, they're not going to play, which means that's $1 that Activision may never get. We've already discussed this in depth in other videos, so I'm not going to go into it, but that's why this makes sense. If they were going to ever do something like nerfing the game mid-match, it would only be to protect the little guy. And it would obviously punish us, the older players, the ones that are good, the senior OG players, the ones who did the trash talking in MW2 and weren't offended by everything, the ones that went through all the broken guns and the advanced movement systems of Advanced Warfare and the exosuit whole era, still got PTSD from Advanced Warfare. The OG players, that the ones that can play the game and use their brain and actually have some sort of game sense, are not going to be the ones that are purchasing skins that are bright fluorescent yellow or pink or hell Barney colored. It's all to save those little guys that are going to spend the money. Mommy and daddy's credit card comes out and they buy a skin for 40 bucks and then they move on. It ain't us. So it makes sense that they would nerf mid-game so the people that are spending money feel good about themselves and will spend more money. I don't know if I've explained this very well. I feel I didn't, but it's a really hard topic to explain. How do you explain a conspiracy theory that is neither true nor not true? How do you explain something that is there but also not there? You're really trying to explain a feeling. And my feeling is that there is something that happens mid-game. There is something that happens to the good player, and you'll see it every match now that I mentioned it. Anyways, I've been your host, Mr. Flatface, the man of many faces, even more opinions, and that was my opinion on a conspiracy theory that may or may not be true. It's probably true. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Remember to leave a like, comment, and consider subscribing. And until then, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!